to its name. All right, here we go. Bottom of the 8th inning. 1-run game yet again for Arizona. 4, 5, and 6 as we showed you for Louisville, starting with Jake Monroe, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored back in the second. He rolls this one to short. Mason White bobbles, slings wide, and Louisville's got the leadoff man aboard on an error by Mason White.
Boy, this game had been so clean until that point. Just a routine ground ball. A little breaking ball. Monroe gets out in front of it. And right there, the ball just kind of kicks up on Mason White just enough. Now, Jake Monroe over at first base. Not a whole lot of stolen bases on the year. Just 2 of them.
He's on for, well, you can hear Eddie King. First pitch swinging. Eddie King is a senior from Illinois. Came here second in the entire ACC in OPS, and a guy who had just been mashing down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, normally this would be a butt situation, but with a guy swinging it like Eddie King Jr. is right now, you let him get after it.
Inside.
Breaking ball backs up. Well, you start wondering about the bullpen as well for Arizona. They've had Tony Pluta as one of the best relievers in all of college baseball all season. Saw him on Friday, and he's an option today. Up the ladder at 92, and it's 1-2 on Eddie King.
Yeah, Pluta only threw, what, 8 pitches a couple of days ago. So he is good to go.
Second team all-conference with 14 saves, but for now it's Hicks with a 1-2. King lines it past White into center field, a base hit. 2 on for Louisville with nobody out.
And Garrett Hicks wants this pitch back right here. You worked so hard to get to 2 strikes. He hung a breaking ball, did Hicks. And Eddie King Jr., who has been as hot as anybody in the postseason. Look where his breaking ball is. Just sitting right up in the heart of the plate, and it's screaming, hit me. And Eddie King Jr. just quickly turns it around. So first and second here in the bottom of the 8th, and nobody out.
And Chip Hill makes the move. Costly errors set this inning in motion for Louisville, and Mason White still showing his frustration. And here comes one of the best relievers in college baseball to face one of the best freshman bats in the country on the other side. Tony Pluta's been nails for the last 2.5 months. Pressure-packed spot is next in Omaha. Seasons and careers hang in the balance today at the Men's College World Series, our first elimination game. Loser goes home. Winner faces whoever loses tonight between Coastal Carolina and Oregon State in a game that would be played Tuesday afternoon. And here we go. Tony Pluta is, in the words of Mason White, the best pitcher in the country. 5'9", arrived as a guy who could catch as well. He has set a program single season record with 14 saves, and we showed you he's not given up an earned run since the beginning of April.
Gaudy numbers. 125 ERA, 29 appearances, all out of the bullpen. Those 14 saves, and how about 34 strikeouts to only 7 walks. Cutter's the most used pitch he has. And then there's the fastball that's going to average right about 92. He'll show you an occasional curveball and a changeup as well.
And he faces the hulking freshman Tage Davis with 2 on, nobody out for Louisville. Davis takes a strike at the bottom of the zone from Pluta, who's one of the most fascinating pitchers in college baseball. Facing the 18 home run hitting Davis. Scorched a ball at 115 off his bat his first time. This one poked in the air. Shallow right center. Summerhill dives and can't get there. They're loaded for Louisville.
Sometimes just putting bat on ball will find the outfield grass. That was a changeup by Pluta right there. And he got the freshman Tage Davis out in front, but boy, he gets it right off the end of the bat and just kind of serves it out there where nobody is. Outstanding effort by the right fielder, Summerfield, who can't come up with it. Man, oh man, what a game.
Ben Davis, the former second overall pick, loves it. Tag drops it in. And remember, with Brendan Summerhill in right field as well, he's been dealing with a hamstring injury these last few weeks. He told us it's probably not 100%. He told us it's as good as I can feel. Obviously a tough play to make out there no matter what, but there have been a couple of balls this weekend that have dropped into right.
Yeah, I mean, he's not 100%, but you got to have that bat in the lineup. There's no doubt about it.
And it is spacious at Charles Schwab Field. Well, this gets mighty interesting as Kevin Vance pays a visit to Tony Pluta. Again, Pluta's been as good as anyone in baseball this year. Through the end of March, he had allowed 1 earned run. First day of April, Tony Pluta gave up 4 earned in a third of an inning against Grand Canyon. That's it. So coming into this Men's College World Series, Pluta had given up 1 earned run in his other 35 1/3 innings this season. And he was telling us the only reason he gave up 4 earned against Grand Canyon was because he had to finish a test, get a ride over with their equipment manager, showed up for the game in the 3rd inning, and came into the game late.
Well, he has got his hands full right now with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Against all ACC, Zion Rose. First pitch swinging, flared into right, and that ball is fair! Monroe scores, King right behind him! Louisville leads!
Well, when you living right, you are living right. The last 2 balls put in play, not hit very hard, but hit in the perfect spot. Little cutter right here kind of stays in the heart of the plate, but you see what he catches it a little bit off the label, inside out swing, and just kind of shoves it gently down the right field line, and watch this ball hit. It just kind of hits and checks up. 2 would score, and now you got 2 in, runners on first and third, and still nobody out.
And Garrett Pike, the batter, with the infield in for Arizona. Man, what a turn in this game. And it all started with that error at shortstop. And you had been harping on how important just clean baseball is. An unfortunate feel for Mason White. First pitch to Pike. Runner goes from first. The pitch a ball, and they'll concede second to Zion Rose.
All right, Arizona's pushing all in, infield coming in. They have got to get the runner at home plate. They can't afford to give another run here.
Pluta's 1-0. On the ground to second. Caulfield comes to the plate. They run Davis back toward third. Tag applied by Pluta. And there's 1 away. And Rose stays stapled to second as well. So that's about as good as you can do for Arizona.
Well, that's exactly why you bring the infield in. You bring the infield in, and if you're on the mound, when you see the infield in, you're telling yourself one thing: I have got to find a way to create a ground ball. And Pluta does hit right to the second baseman, Caulfield. A quick dart throw to home plate, and the run down begins at that
point. So now you got a double play in order. Now, come on, your neighbors. The batter here runs very well. Switch hitting second baseman in the 9th spot. So you got Pike at first, Rose still at second, and the batter is Neighbors, who has singled 3 times.
Ball.
Louisville has played in some wild games the first 3 days of the Men's College World Series.
You just don't. You never know what you're going to see here.
Top 9 on Friday. They improbably tied it against Oregon State. Only for the Beavers to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. After Patrick Forbes had been great going up against Dax Whitney, the Oregon State stud freshman who started that one. And now a couple of runs for the Cards in the bottom of the 8th inning 2 days later. That's a strike. Flip side for Arizona. Remember, the Wildcats gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning on Friday against Coastal Carolina. They lost that one 7-4. And the lead has evaporated here these last 2 innings for Arizona. Roped into right field by Neighbors. Stop sign for Rose. He runs through it. The throw is cut, and Louisville adds on.
Well, how about you, Kamaya Neighbors, huh? Sitting in that 9-hole for Louisville. How about a 4-for-4 day? 4 times to the plate, 4 singles. And Louisville up 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We kept talking about when is Louisville going to get that big base hit? When are they going to get that big base hit in scoring position? Well, they've got 2 of them just in this inning alone. Rose with a 2 RBI single, and Neighbors with an RBI single of his own. A beautiful swing.
And Tony Pluta has given up a run for the first time in 2.5 months. The lead's 2. Alex Alicea takes, and now he will run the man back to third. Pike gets hung up. Pluta applies the tag, but dropped the baseball. 6-3 Cardinals. What in the world?
Well, somebody missed a sign for Louisville, but it paid off. Looked like to me the squeeze was on. Watch this, runner at third breaking right away, but no attempt at all to bunt the ball, and the rundown begins right here. And there's Pluta right there, sitting right there, but the ball, he never received the ball, never caught it cleanly. Boy, it hits right in the heel of his glove and pops out. And Louisville with a 4 spot here in the bottom of the 8th.
It's an error charged to Tony Pluta. And the L's up on the other side for the Cardinals. It all started with a ground ball to short from Jake Monroe to begin this bottom of the 8th inning. Couple of balls into right field. All against one of the best relievers in college baseball. Infield is in. Alicea bunts back to the mound, and a run scores. 7-3 Louisville, and no miss signs that time.
Well, we talked about Louisville and how many different ways that they can beat you. Beat you with their legs, they can beat you with the small ball, and they've done it in this inning in a big way right here. This is well executed here. Just get it on the ground, runner break it. All you got to do is find a way to get it on the ground. They execute it perfectly. And now up 4, 7-3 here in the bottom of the 8th.
Lucas Moore past the mound. Mason White had a hop go off his midsection. And now Moore's on. And Louisville will send 9 to the plate here in the 8th inning on an infield single.
Boy, the lug nuts have gotten loose. The wheels have fallen off for the Wildcats.
Entering the Men's College World Series, Arizona was 39-0 when leading or tied after 7. In danger now of losing 2 straight such games here in Omaha.
Safe.
And there's any doubt that Lucas Moore, who has 51 stolen bases on the year, is not going to steal a base right here. Look, he's going right now. Look,
he just takes off right in the face of Tony Pluta. This has unraveled on Arizona. It has sped up on the Wildcats.
I mean, Lucas Moore's looking around. The middle infielders are walking away from the bag. Pluta's on the mound. He's not paying attention. He just takes an extra 90. Watch him right here. He's going to take a quick look. Sees the infielder shortstop. Just kind of turns his back, and he just sneaks off the bag and gets himself in a scoring position.
Here it is again.
Watch this. He's looking. He's watching the middle infielders. They're backing up, and he's just off and moving.
1-0 on Matt Klein in the 3 spot. Cuts through the cutter there from Tony Pluta. Man, what a change in this game.
How quickly it can change. And that's why you got to get 27 outs in this game. That's the beauty of the game of baseball. Not on time, it's on outs. You got to get all 27 of them to win a ball game.
5 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning for Louisville. Dan McDonald had given that impassioned speech in the dugout 2 innings ago. Told his team 4 innings left, potentially in your season.
Lock in and give me your best effort. Give me what you got. Focus has to be at a high level, and it has been. And that's the beauty of coaching, is knowing the right buttons to push and when to push those buttons. Dan McDonald's been around a long time.
His teams met opening weekend in Arlington, Texas. Louisville won 13-1. They had a 5-run 8th inning in that game. They've got a 5-run 8th inning 4 months later at the Men's College World Series. It all started with Jake Monroe. (2-2). Backside base hit. Matt Klein in the left. More to the plate. Breifogel's throw is not in time. Klein is thrown out at second, but it's a 6-run bottom of the 8th inning for Louisville to flip this game and maybe save their season. Dan McDonald was fiery with his Louisville team that worked so hard to rise from the valley of the last few years and get back to Omaha. He gave them an impassioned speech before the bottom of the 6th. And 2 innings later, Zion Rose and company deliver. And now we go to the 9th. Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow back in OKC. 8:30 Eastern on ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8. Top 9 here in Omaha. This is win or go home. If you're just joining us, Arizona led throughout, but Louisville just put up 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Another game coming tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN2, Coastal Carolina and Oregon State. With Ben McDonald and Danny Wexelman and our entire crew, Mike Monaco with you for a game that has changed so suddenly. And now it's up to 9-1-2 for Easton Breifogel to begin against Tucker Biven. This Arizona team got back here to the Men's College World Series and now down 5. Chip Hill told us this morning we felt like it was our year to get here. Felt like they had built things up. And a heartbreaking look for Tony Pluta. Bouncer from Breifogel. Davis spins, fires off the mid of Biven. Breifogel is on to begin the 9th inning.
Was Ted Davis maybe a little bit too aggressive right there? Because Neighbors, the second baseman, is there. Like, he is right behind him. You see where Neighbors is right there? That would have been a lot easier play for Nevin. For Neighbors, I should say, right there. But maybe Ted Davis a little bit too aggressive going to get that ball.
Set some real good plays over there, so you can understand trying to make another. Again, this is one of the stud arms for Louisville. Tucker Biven trying to close it out. Now against the leadoff man, Brendan Summerhill. Strike 1 to start. To the right fielder, projected as a first-round pick, according to our Kylie McDaniel. 0 for 4, though, in this one. Strikeout, line out, strikeout looking, ground out to second. This one popped up behind the plate. Matt Klein over toward the railing, makes the catch, and there's one away.
The story for me for this one is not just about Louisville's offense and putting up 6 runs. It's also about Louisville's relief pitching. And I tell you what, Daniel Levitch and Biven have come in and they're working on 5 1/3, right at 5 innings of scoreless baseball. They gave their offense a chance to climb back in this one. Everly started. He gives up 3 runs in 3 2/3. Daniel Levitch comes in, starts stacking up zeros. Bivin right behind him.
And Tony Pluta forced to watch. Aaron Walton in the 2 spot. Dan McDonnell in the meantime, 2 outs away from staying alive and getting 2 more days in Omaha, Nebraska. Boy, it is so tough to come out of the losers bracket, and Louisville with an improbable late inning surge for the 2nd time.
Yeah, when you get to, I mean, you got to think small picture. You can't think big picture and how many games we have to win. It's just 1 day at a time, 1 win at a time. That's all your focus is.
And should they hang on here, get the win? It's a question for another day, but they've used their 3 best starters already.
But that's what happens when you get in the losers bracket, right? You're going to have guys that come in that maybe haven't had significant roles in high leverage situations for you, and it's time to step them up.
Pull side single into left for Aaron Walton. Puts 2 aboard. So Arizona not done yet, and they got Mason White coming up here.
If you waiting on the Wildcats to quit, they ain't no quitting this bunch.
Tucson native, 3rd generation Wildcat, Mason White. Super talented. Chip Hale was saying to us earlier today, a kid who was under recruited, committed right when Chip Hale came to see him. One of the all-time home run hitters in Wildcats history. Grew up adoring some of the greats to play for Arizona. Mason was telling us J.J. Matijevic was his favorite. That's why he's got the leg kick.
And you don't see many guys at the collegiate level or at the big league level anymore with big high leg kicks. The velocities that guys are creating now. A lot of guys have gotten away, kind of going to a toe tap, if you will.
Cut and a miss from Mason, who's got Dad Ben, grandfather Tim here watching as well with the family.
Yeah, Mason White, maybe a little bit undersized, but I tell you what, there's some serious juice in that bat. 20 long balls on the year, 73 RBIs.
Bivens, 0-2 will have to wait. Yeah, we were looking at MLB draft rankings pregame. He's top 150 according to MLB.com.
Yeah, put him in what, 5th, 6th round, somewhere in that ballpark. He'll get a chance at the next level, no doubt about it.
White strikes out, and there's 2 away.
Tucker Bivin, huh? Big league breaking ball right there. So where do you want to get? When you get 2 strikes on a hitter, something that starts in the zone as it travels that 60 feet 6 inches, work it right out. He executed that perfectly. Arizona down to their final out.
And your heart breaks for Tony Pluta. Man, he was such an impressive kid to chat with the other day. Got a 36 on his ACT, aerospace engineering kid with a 3.91 GPA. Nothing to hang your hat on, Tony, man. You were special this season. It's up to Adonis Guzman for Arizona. Cleanup man with 2 on and 2 out in the 9th inning. Just off 2-0. Not sure quite where that missed. Combined Neighbors delivered 4 hits out of the 9 spot. First Louisville player with 4 hits in a game here in Omaha. Wow. Ever. Four unearned runs for Louisville in the bottom of the 8th inning, part of a 6-run frame. 2-1. Guzman pops it up into center at Lucas Moore. And a Cards comeback complete.
Man, what a game. Felt like Arizona had it on cruise control, but Louisville had other ideas. A sixth spot, and we talked about they were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position going into the 8th inning. And they get 4 big base hits with runners in scoring position. And again, I'm going to talk about the relievers for Louisville. 5 1/3 shutout baseball, and that's the reason why Louisville was able to come back and win this ball game.
Back in Omaha for the first time since 2019, and their first win since 6 years ago as well. In Omaha comes today in grand fashion with a 6th spot in the bottom of the 8th inning to stay alive and get to Tuesday afternoon against whoever loses tonight between Coastal Carolina and Oregon State. Hats off to Arizona on a wonderful season, 44 wins. They got back to Omaha as well. But they are the first team out, and we are down to 7 at the Men's College World Series. Still to come tonight, 7 Eastern, ESPN2, Coastal Carolina and Oregon State here in bracket 1. And on the other side, those 4 teams in action tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN, Murray State and Arkansas in an elimination game. And then at night, UCLA and LSU. Man, that was something. They did it in so many different ways offensively in that bottom of the 8th inning to hang a half dozen.
Yeah, and we talked about Louisville in the NCAA tournament struggling offensively a little bit, having some trouble, and I give Dan McDonald a lot of credit. He changed his lineup up big time for this ball game right here. He changed it up, and they end up putting an 8th spot on the scoreboard.
Kamayu Neighbors had 4 hits out of the 9th spot. He is an impressive young man, and he's with Danny Wexelman.
Mike, thank you so much. In your own words, describe that comeback in the bottom of the 8th.
Expected. That's what we've done all year. So
why?
That's the team that we are. Even in the fall when we did inter squads, no matter what team you were on, if you were down bottom innings, it seemed like we'd always come back. So it's just what's expected from this team. We think we're the best late 3-inning team in the nation. So, and I think we're proving that. Dan
McDonald gave a very impassioned speech in the dugout. What did he say?
Figure it out. Let's again, like I said, I think we're the best offense in the nation. Our pitchers, if they fill up the zone, we have a chance to beat anybody in the nation. So he expects more from us, just like we expect more from each other. So he just said, let's go. It's time.
For you, bus rides to Compton, to here in Omaha, Nebraska, how gratifying is this journey?
I just thank God, my family. It's an honor. It really is. Just to be out here, play hard, play for my family, play for the Lord, and play for my boys out on the field.
Go celebrate. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mike.
Kid had 1 Division II offer once upon a time, Danny, and he gets the job done in a crazy comeback, and yeah, pretty good team the last 3 innings. Hats off to Arizona on a wonderful season that ends, unfortunately, with sadness in Omaha. Still to come, we've got more action. 7 Eastern, ESPN2, Coastal and Oregon State. But coming up next, baseball tonight, Kevin Connors and Tim Kirkjian. For Ben McDonald, Danny Wexelman, and our whole crew, I'm Mike Monaco saying thanks for joining us here in Omaha at the Men's College World Series.